Hare Krishna, everybody. My pranams to all.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Nice to see you or hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, one more Wednesday. We are continuing. Hare
Yes, we can
Krishna.
hear.
With Bhagavatam.
Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavandadvar Mataji. How is everything in China? Good?
Oh no.
No. Well,
Wish you to bless us. Can have a good health and safely practice our Krishna consciousness.
yeah, but the problems are opportunity to depend more on Krishna and be more Krishna conscious. So Krishna will help definitely, I'm sure, whatever the problems are.
Yeah.
Okay, let us just quickly summarize. Actually, if we somehow absorb our mind in the Bhagavatam, in Krishna and the holy name, all external problems, whether in China or India or UK or wherever, they will disappear. The problems, Krishna will take care of the problems. It's somehow or other we take care that we put Krishna in our mind. So this is one of the way to focus the mind on Krishna and let him take care of the external circumstances. All right, so we on this chapter 7, if you remember, and chapter 7 is the entitled What Prahlad Learned in the Womb. If you remember that demigods, they came to the Hiranyakashipu's palace when he was doing tapasya, and they wanted to arrest his mother Kayadu, but Narada Muni appeared and told them not to do that because the great devotee is in the womb. So Narada Muni took Prahlad's mother into his ashram, and there he instructed both the mother and the child about Bhagavad Dharma, about transcendental knowledge. And now the Prahlad, he's telling his schoolmates, his friends in the school, how he learned about Krishna consciousness, about Bhakti Yoga, because they were wondering since he was always with them in the school, so how he got opportunity to learn. So he explained to them and started teaching them. And he started with the basic knowledge of the soul, with Atma Tattva, with the jnana about the knowledge of the soul and its transmigration with different bodies. So basically, he explained the nature of the spirit soul, that the soul doesn't undergo any changes. As you know, there are 6 changes: birth, growth, transformation, dwindling, death. And it's like a tree that bears its flowers and fruits and undergo changes. And then he explained the qualities of the Atma, like it's eternal, free from deterioration, pure, individual, it's kshetragya, it's knower of the body, is ashraya, shelter of everything, free from material change, and so on and so forth, different qualities of the soul. We heard that then he stressed the importance of understanding the spirit and gave that analogy of expert geologists who can extract gold from a gold ore. So similarly, intelligent person, he can understand the soul and the super soul within the body by the spiritual practice, by bhakti or atma yoga. And then, he also explained how the soul exists as observer, as sakshi, within the different energies, 3 modes of material nature and 16 transformations of these modes. And also he mentioned 2 kinds of bodies: a gross body made of 5 gross material elements, and a subtle body, sukshma sharira, made of 3 elements: mind, ego, and intelligence. And then, yes, sober person must search for the soul with a purified mind. And just in the last verse that we read, it was 25, he described the 3 states of conditioned existence: wakefulness, dreaming state or swapna, and deep sleep or sushupti. And that the Paramatma is beyond these 3 states. The Supreme Lord is beyond these states. So whether we are in the wakeful state or dreaming or deep sleep, we should understand that until we are spiritually awakened, we're still dreaming. I gave some example of this lucid dreaming, if you remember. Or I will continue now with the shloka 26. I'll just quickly share my screen. Oh, she's back. I thought somebody disappeared. Who was already here. All right. Share the screen. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Devaya. Om Jnanatirandasya Jnanjana Shalaka Chakshura. So who would like to start reading? Subhadra Mataji, can you please start reading?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
एभिः स्त्रीवर्णायै पर्यस्तेर् बुद्धिभेदै क्रियो उद्भवायि स्वरूपमात्मनो बुद्ध्येत्कन्देरिवायुम् इवान्वयात्.
Thank you for the nice tune.
As one can understand the presence of the air by the aromas it carries, so under the guidance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can understand the living soul by these three divisions of intelligence. These three divisions, however, are not the soul. They are constituted of the three modes and are born of activities. Purport. As already explained, there are three states of our existence, namely wakefulness, dreaming, and deep sleep. In all three states, we have different experiences. Thus, the soul is the observer of these three states. Actually, the activities of the body, just as aromas are distinct from the material vehicle in which they are carried, the soul is unattached to material activities. This analysis can be considered by a person who is fully under the shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. This is confirmed by the Vedic injunction, Yasmin Vigyate Sarvam Evam Vigyatam Bhavati, Mundak Upanishad 1.3. If one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can automatically understand everything else. Because of not taking shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, even great scholars, scientists, philosophers, and religionists are always bewildered. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Ye anye aravindaksha vimuktamaninas Tvai astabhavat avishuddha bhav buddhaya. Even though one may artificially think himself liberated from material contamination, if he has not taken shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, his intelligence is polluted, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Indriyani parani ahur indriyebhyah param manah manasastu para buddhir yo buddhe paratastu saha. Above the senses is the mind. Above the mind is the intelligence, and above the intelligence is the soul. Ultimately, when one's intelligence becomes clear through devotional service, one is situated in Buddhi Yoga. This also is explained in Bhagavad Gita, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mam Upayanti Te. When devotional service develops and one's intelligence becomes clear, one can use this intelligence to return home back to Godhead. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, 7.7.26. The jiva is the processor of these three states of intelligence. One should understand the nature of the pure jiva, Atmanaha, by rejecting the contrary qualities of the three types of intelligence transformed by the three modes, which give rise to action. Just as one should understand that the air holds the fragrance simply by contact with fragrances of flowers, but is separated from them. He who activates that intelligence is the Paramatma. He who is endowed with the intelligence is the Jiva.
These three states of intelligence I mentioned here, that means these three states of consciousness, wakefulness, sleep, dreaming state, and deep sleep. So in all of these three states, we are conditioned, we are bewildered, we are not enlightened in either state. When we are awake, we make so many mistakes. We are under the Maya's influence, and we can make so many mistakes and misperceive things and do incorrect actions and misjudge, and so we are under the influence of Maya. Similarly, dreaming state, obviously the dreams are very rarely something that you can rely on. Whatever comes in the mind, you are dreaming. Also, you can be dreaming all sorts of crazy things, which are not factual. Only in very rare cases, when somebody has purified intelligence, the dream can be something spiritual. Of course, if the person is more advanced, there is a greater chance that he has some spiritual dreams, and the Lord also can appear uh, in a dream and give some instructions similar, and then deep sleep. Basically, we are not conscious. You're not aware of anything. You're not dreaming. You are not awake. It's like deep state of coma. It is said that jivas that are in Mahavishnu at the end of when they merge in Mahavishnu at the end of creation, they are put in this sort of deep sleep where they're not conscious. And then once the creation starts again, they're being manifested, so they will wake up. But either any of all of these three states, they are conditioned states of existence. So we want to come to the fourth state of consciousness, or fourth state of intelligence, which is called Turiya, transcendental. That means that we become conscious of ourselves as the spirit souls, and as the Lord, as the master of the spirit soul. Yes, so he continues here with the Atma Tattva. Let's see how many more shlokas we'll hear about that. And Kunaraj Prabhu, can you please continue?
Yes, Prabhu. एतद्वारो हि संसारो गुणकर्म निबन्धनः अज्ञानमूलोपात्तो अपि पुंसस्वप्न इवार्प्यते. Translation. Through polluted intelligence, one is subjected to the modes of nature, and thus one is conditioned by material existence. Like a dreaming state in which one falsely suffers, material existence, which is due to ignorance, must be considered unwanted and temporary. Purport. The unwanted condition of temporary life is called ignorance. One can very easily understand that the material body is temporary, for it is generated at a certain date and ends at a certain date, after undergoing the 6 kinds of change, namely birth, death, growth, maintenance, transformation, and dwindling. This condition of the eternal soul is due to his ignorance, and although it is temporary, it is unwanted. Because of ignorance, one is put into temporary bodies one after another. The spirit soul, however, does not need to enter such temporary bodies. He does so only due to his ignorance or his forgetfulness of Krishna. Therefore, in the human form of life, when one's intelligence is developed, one should change his consciousness by trying to understand Krishna. Then one can be liberated. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.9, where the Lord says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah tekva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjana. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Unless one understands Krishna and comes to Krishna consciousness, one must continue in material bondage. To end this conditional life, one must surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Indeed, that is demanded by the Supreme Lord. Sarva Dharman Paridyajya Mamekam Charanam Raja. Bhagavad Gita 18.66. As advised by Maharaja Rishabhadeva, Na sadhu manye yata atmano yamasan apikleshada asa deha. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.4. One must be intelligent enough to understand that although one's body is temporary and will not endure for long, as long as one has a body, he must undergo the pangs of material existence. Therefore, if by good association, by the instructions of a bona fide spiritual master, one takes to Krishna consciousness, his conditional life of material existence is vanquished, and his original consciousness, known as Krishna consciousness, is revived. When one is Krishna conscious, he can realize that material existence, whether one is awake or dreaming, is nothing but a dream and has no factual value. This realization is possible by the grace of the Supreme Lord. This grace is also present in the form of the instructions of Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission is for everyone to engage in welfare activities to awaken the foolish living entity, especially in human society, so that he may come to the platform of Krishna consciousness and benefit by liberation from conditional life. In this connection, Srila Madhvacharya cites the following verses. Dukkarupopi samsaro buddhipurvam avapyate yata swapne siraschedam svayam krutvatmano asaha tato dukkam avapyate tata jagrito apiptu jnanam api atmano dukkam avasastu pravattate. One must realize that the material condition of life is full of distresses. One can realize this with purified intelligence. When one's intelligence is purified, he can understand that unwanted temporary material life is just like a dream. Just as one suffers pain when his head is cut off in a dream. In ignorance, one suffers not only while dreaming, but also while awake. Without the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one continues in ignorance and is thus subjected to material distresses in various ways. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura comments, this intelligence is a cause. It is always bound by the gunas and actions. Its root is not understood, Ajnana Mula. Though it is insubstantial, apartaha, it imposes the body on the jiva, samsaraha, just as a dream is imposed on a person. This takes place by the Sakti of the Lord.
This verse here reminds me of one verse in the second canto, was speaking about this dreaming state. And I just looked for and found it. It's probably actually give a whole class on this. 291. If you want to look, I'm looking at online Veda Bedi. It says Atma Mayam Rite Rajam Parasinu Bhavam Atmanaha Nagater Tarta Sambandha Swapna Drashtur Ivanjasa. Drashtu is the seer and Swapna is the dream. So translation is Shukdev Swami said, O king, unless one is influenced by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no meaning to the relationship of the pure soul in pure consciousness with the material body. That relationship is just like a dreamer seeing his own body working. So in other words, just because we are influenced by illusory energy, by Maya, we think we have a relationship to this body. We think we are this body, but it's illusory relationship. It's like when we are dreaming and seeing something in a dream and thinking it's factual. But when we wake up, we know that it was just a dream. And probably he gives very, very interesting purport there. Maybe I can just read the one part. Maharaj Parish, just the beginning, I'll just read the beginning. Maharaj Parishik's question is how a living entity began his material life, although he's apart from material body and mind, is perfectly answered. The spirit soul is distinct from material conception of his life, but he is absorbed in such material conception because of being influenced by the external energy of the Lord, called Atma Maya. And then he goes further to explain it. And another analogy given is you're dreaming that the tiger is attacking you, and you're very much scared, and you scream in a dream. You suffer very much in a dream. But once you wake up, you realize there is no time. There is no reason for fear, and everything becomes suddenly fine. So similarly, once we wake up from this conditioned state of identification with the material body, once we come to understand that we are the soul, all the fears will disappear. The fear is there only because of identification with the body. There's no other reason. And this is the main symptom of conditioned material existence, fear. Because we fear that we'll lose whatever is connected with this body, and eventually that we'll lose the body itself, which is inevitable. Sooner or later it has to happen. Okay, if anybody has anything else, otherwise we can proceed. Shailesh Prabhu or Kirti Mataji, if you can please.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Tasmad bhavapi kartavayam karmanam trigunatmananam bijnirharanam yoga pravadho paramodihai. Therefore, my dear friends, O sons of the demons, your duty is to take Krishna consciousness, which can burn the seed of fruitive activities artificially created by the modes of material nature, and stop the flow of intelligence in wakefulness, dreaming, and deep sleep. In other words, when one takes to Krishna consciousness, his ignorance is immediately dissipated. Purport. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 14:26. Mam chayo vayapicharane bhakti yogena sevata sagunan samatityatan brahma bhutyaha kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature, and thus comes to the level of Brahman. By the practice of Bhakti Yoga, one immediately comes to the spiritual platform, transcendental to the actions and reactions of the three modes of material nature. The root of ignorance is material consciousness, which must be killed by spiritual consciousness or Krishna consciousness. The word bija nirharanam refers to the burning of the root cause of material life to ashes. In the Medini dictionary, yoga is explained by its result, yoga purvatha sampratpattu sangati dhyana yuktishu. When one is put into an awkward position because of the ignorance, the process by which one can be freed from the entanglement is called yoga. This is called liberation. Muktir hitvan yatha rupam swarupena vyavastititi. Mukti means giving up one's position in ignorance or illusion, by which one thinks in a way contrary to his constitutional position. Returning to one's constitutional position is called mukti, and the process by which one does this is called yoga. Thus, yoga is above karma, jnana, and sankhya. Indeed, yoga is the ultimate goal of life. Krishna therefore advised Arjun to become a yogi. Tasmat yogi bhararjuna. Lord Krishna further advised in the Bhagavad Gita that the first-class yogi is one who comes to the platform of devotional service. Yoginam api sarvesham mad gatenantaratatmana Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yukta tumo mata. Of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga, and is the highest of all. Bhagavad Gita 6:47. Thus one who always thinks of Krishna within the core of his heart is the best yogi. By practicing this best of all yoga systems, one is liberated from the material condition. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur 7:728. Therefore, one must endeavor to extinguish this intelligence. The seed is material intelligence. It must be destroyed. How? There must be destruction of the states, pravaha, of waking, dreaming, and deep sleep of the intelligence. Yoga is the result. Medini says that yoga means supernatural attainment, combination, meditation, and means.
Yoga became very popular in the Western world in the last 50 years since Prabhupada came. So many yoga clubs all over the world popped up, and so many people practice yoga. If you just go on YouTube and you type yoga, you'll find thousands of videos. But most of these yogas is just some sort of stretching or some pranayama. Sometimes they come up with all sort of very funny and even ridiculous sort of yoga. They invent, beer yoga, where you drink, beer and do yoga, laughing yoga, this yoga, that yoga. But in reality, this is a mockery of real yoga. So Prabhupada here explains what the real yoga means. Real yoga is bhakti yoga, where you're connecting with God, with the Supreme. But yeah, if you mention to people on the street, oh, I'm a yogi, he will immediately think that you're just doing some stretching and some sort of asanas. They don't really identify Krishna consciousness as yoga, but in reality, the Bhakti yoga is the topmost of all yogas, and is the best mean of attaining liberation from these three states of conditioned consciousness. We want to wake up from the conditioned consciousness. And I remember first time I came to the temple and I was listening to Kirtan, I had such a distinct feeling that I'm waking up, just that sound of the Kirtan. I was awake, I was walking, but then I had the feeling that I'm just awakening from a long dream. And this is actually what the soul feels when it awakes from these three states of material consciousness and comes to the Brahma-Bhuta platform. And then on that platform, there is no anxieties, no worries, because you're completely above the gunas. Yeah, so somehow we have to wake up. Jiv Jago, Bhaktivinoda Thakur thinks, Jiv Jago, wake up, sleeping soul. Now we are so much, in anxiety about small things, small worries we have. Sometimes there are also big worries, big anxieties. But once we wake up, all these worries and anxieties, they'll become very, very insignificant because you realize they really don't have anything to do with you, with your real self, because you're not the body, you're not the mind. So who cares? Even if the body and the mind is destroyed, you won't care. You won't be afraid. Okay. Chatra Mataji, would you like to read now?
Yeah.
Please.
Text 29. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 7, Text 29. Tachopaya sahasranam yan bhagavato titaha yatasre bhagavati yathaye anjasa gati. Translation of the different process recommended for disentanglement from material life, the one personally explained and accepted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead should be considered all perfect. That process is the performance of duties by which love for the Supreme Lord develops. Purport. Among the linking process that elevate one from bondage to material contamination, the one recommended by the Supreme Personality of Godhead should be accepted as the best. That process is clearly explained in Bhagavad Gita, where the Lord says, Sarvatamam parityaja, man mekam saranam raja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. This process is the best because the law assures aham sava papepyo mokshayi yami ma shuchaha. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. There is no need to be worried, for the Lord himself assures that he will care for his devotee and save him from the reactions of sinful activities. Material bondage is the result of sinful activities. Therefore, since the law assures that he will dissipate the result of fruity material activities, there is no need to be worried. This process of understanding one's position as a spiritual and then engaging oneself in devotional service is therefore the best. The entire Vedic program is based on this principle, and one can understand it as recommended in the Vedas. Yashadeva Parapakti Yatha Deve Tata Guru Tasheti Katita Hi Ataha Prakashante Mahamanaha. Unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the law and the spiritual matter, all the imports of Vedic knowledge are automatically revealed. Svatara Upanishad 6.23. One must accept the pure devotee, the representative of God, as one's guru, and then offer him all the respects one should offer the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the secret of success. For one who adopts this method, The perfect process is revealed. In this verse, the words they Ranjasharati indicate that by offering service and surrendering to the spiritual master, one is elevated to devotional service. And by performing devotional service, one gradually becomes attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because of this attachment to the law, one can understand the law. In other words, one can understand what the law's position is, and what our position is, and what our relationship is. And all this can be understood very easily by the simple method of Bhakti Yoga. As soon as one is situated on the platform of Bhakti Yoga, the root cause of one's suffering and material bondage is destroyed. This is clearly explained in the next verse, which gives the secret of success. Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, among the thousands of means for burning the sea, this method is recommended by the law. Other methods are inferior because they are proclaimed by other sages. What is this method? From this Bhakti Yoga, which arises from its angas of serving Guru, Rati appears. Bhakti Yoga is the method. The word angasha directly and the Brati case from Bhakti Yoga indicate that Brati is the chief result. Burning up material intelligence is only an accompanying result. It is achieved without effort by those practicing Shuddha Bhakti. It is said, Jaladati Tya Jaladyasu Ya Kosan Niginan Anarodyata. That Bhakti quickly destroys the subtle body, just as the digestive fire conceals food. B means Srimad Bhagavatam 3.25-23.
Yeah, bhakti or devotional service is complaint to Agni, digestive fire in the stomach. When it's healthy, the digestion is done very nicely, and the food is properly digested and absorbed. So similarly, if devotional service of bhakti is performed properly, then the subtle body consisting of mind, intelligence, and false ego is quickly destroyed. So there are many processes of self-realization, and if you remember Krishna also in Bhagavad Gita, he's giving different processes there. He's proposing with karma yoga, dhyana yoga, stanga yoga, but then he concludes which one is the best, and that's the bhakti yoga. So it's up to us to choose, but there are different methods. And the bhakti yoga starts with taking shelter of Guru. If you remember, Rupa Goswami lists 64 limbs of bhakti, and taking shelter of the Guru is first. Why? Because from the Guru you learn how to perform all other limbs. Otherwise, how are you going to perform? Just by reading books, it will be very difficult. You need somebody to guide you and show you how to perform all these limbs of bhakti. So, Guru primarily means shiksha, but then of course diksha is also there. But diksha without shiksha is useless. We need somebody to teach us, not just to give us a name and beads. Anybody can do that. All right, are there any? Yes, please, Mataji.
Yeah, I have question in the purport of the Srila Prabhupada.
Mhm.
There is one sentence, the last paragraph.
Okay.
One, yeah, you see the one last paragraph. One must accept the pure devotee, representative of God, as one's guru, and then offer him all the respect one would offer the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, from this question, my question is, shall all the gurus in each come pure devotee? And so we now accept the one guru as our spiritual master. Then the question is, can we go back to Godhead? But we don't know whether he is pure or not.
You're going back to Godhead is not strictly dependent on whether your guru is pure devotee or not. It's dependent on your level of realization, your level of progress. One doesn't become a pure devotee just by institutional rubber stamping. So if somebody is engaged in ISKCON to serve as a guru, doesn't mean that he's a pure devotee. He can be or may not be. There is no guarantee just by being appointed because institution organization has such a nature that they have certain rules and regulations, and you go to the guru committee, you attend the guru course, you pass some tests, and you get the recommendation of your senior devotees, and they vote, and you become a guru. This is guru in the institution, how the guru system works in an institution like ISKCON, but that doesn't make you just a pure devotee. You have to be, if you want to really be bona fide guru, then yeah, you have to be realized this is the best type of guru. But of course, there are gurus who are on the lower level, and Srila Prabhupada speaks about that in Nectar with Strasham, if you remember in one of these verses. He's emphasizing that one should choose Uttama Vikari, the self-realized devotee, as the guru. But Madhyama can also serve as a guru, but one should understand that he can bring us only up to the level where he is. He cannot bring us further. So under the Madhyama's guidance, we can also make progress to a certain extent. But it would be best to have a, Uttama Vikari as the guru, but it might not be always possible. Then what to do? Well, in ISKCON we came up with Srila Prabhupada as the preeminent Shiksha Guru. Undoubtedly, Srila Prabhupada is a pure devotee, and we say that other gurus in ISKCON, they are assisting Srila Prabhupada. But the main Shiksha is given by Prabhupada through his books, through his lectures, classes. This is the main instructions are there, and we all follow that. And he's our most important Shiksha Guru. And Diksha Gurus that we accepted, they are supposed to help us, but they're not independent from Srila Prabhupada. Actually, Guru is just not one person. Guru is whole Guru Parampara. His Guru's Guru and his Guru, and like this all the way back to the Lord. So we should not have this sectarian conception of Guru. Oh, this is just my Guru. Well, here, Krishna chose to help you now to this person who is acting as your Diksha Guru. But Krishna is the Adi Guru. And Krishna also manifests as all the previous acharyas and spiritual masters. So they're all acting in a in unity, in sync as the guru. So at the moment, your Diksha guru is acting as the one who is the closest to you. In the future, it might be somebody else. And Srila Prabhupada is always there as the most important Shiksha guru for devotees in ISKCON. So yeah, and because he's a representative of the Lord, whoever that person is at the moment, we offer him respect as we would offer it to the Lord. But of course, in ISKCON we had quite some guru fall downs in the past. I know devotees who had one guru who fell down, then had another guru who fell down. And what they're supposed to do after this? To look for third or fourth or fifth one? Some of them, they just took shelter of Srila Prabhupada. So there is no guarantee just by being appointed by some committee in an organization that one is a pure devotee. You have to judge yourself using your intelligence, using the Shastra and other things. But even if your present guru is not self-realized Uttamadhikari coming from Vaikuntha, and most likely most of these gurus they are not, they still help us. They still can guide us. If they're more advanced than us, they can still guide us like older students. They can teach younger students. Senior students can teach junior students. Although they're not the teachers yet, but still they know something more, so they can help us to a certain extent. And for whatever they cannot, Srila Prabhupada is there to make up for them through his books and through his shiksha. Do you have anything else on this, Mataji? Is it clear?
Yeah. Prabhu, that means if your guru is now pure devotee, but when you practice by your own realization, you can also go back to Godhead. Is that what you say?
Yeah, if you become pure devotee yourself. Well, also definition of pure devotee, pure devotee can be also neophyte devotee. Shuddha Bhakta means that you have no material desires. You just desire to serve the Lord without any material motive. That's a pure devotee. It doesn't need to be self-realized person who is a pure devotee. Any sincere devotee who just wants to surrender and serve Krishna and to attain love for Krishna is a pure devotee, but he is compared to green mango. He's not a tribe mango. He's on the way to become completely pure. Then, of course, the anarthas might be there. So we can be anywhere from the Shraddha to Prema. There's Shraddha, Sadhu, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchi, Sakti, Bhava. So person can be anywhere on this platform, but yeah, I would say that Madhyama Adhikari, he is on the Nishta. He attained steadiness. He surpassed the Nartha Nivriti. So he became steady in devotional service. And then from Nishta up to Bhava and Prema is the somebody whom you want to accept as your guru or guide. And of course, it would be best to have a Prema Bhakta as the guru, but sometimes Prema Bhaktas are not that easily available. So then you take anybody else who is available. And even if your Diksha guru cannot help you, there are Shiksha gurus also. And I again emphasize Shiksha is more important than Diksha. The one who is guiding you, it's more significant than one who just gave you once a name and the mantra, but then he's not very much present in your life. You see him maybe once a year or once in 3 years, and you don't have really much interaction with him. You need somebody who is guiding you, if not on daily basis, at least on some regular basis, whom you can share your mind, who who can tell you what to do, how to practice, with whom you can share your doubts. This is Shiksha Guru. And Krishna himself says there's no difference between Shiksha and Diksha Gurus. And actually the Shiksha is more important. And generally Diksha Guru becomes also Shiksha Guru, but sometimes not. Because if Diksha Guru has thousands and tens of thousands of disciples, how can he, guide all these disciples? It's impossible. That's why the Shiksha Guru is needed. And then he becomes the most prominent person in a life. And then,
Yeah,
yes.
Prabhu, so from what you say, that means a pure devotee may have several levels. You mean that new devotee, if he or she has no material desire and just want to serve the Lord, he or she is like a green mango, and then he is also a pure devotee.
Yeah, technically, he's also Shuddha because he's performing Shuddha Bhakti, and then he's called. It is just terminology. Then he also is called pure devotee. But what we understood as pure devotee, somebody coming from a spiritual world. That was the general usage of this word pure devotee. Depends how you apply. But technically, I'm speaking, yeah, the pure devotee is one who performs pure bhakti, which means the bhakti, which is anyavilashita suna, which is devoid of all material desires, of all jnana and karma. This is also pure devotee. So in that sense, neophyte devotee can be a pure devotee, but he is not not yet the right mango. But of course, as I said, as a guru, we want somebody who is more advanced, who already passed through some of the stages of bhakti, who attain at least nishta. Then he can guide us. And of course, ideally, we would want somebody who attained bhava and prema to guide us, because then he can actually transfer the spiritual potency to us. But if bhava and prema bhaktas are not available, Madhyamadikari can also act as a guru. Prabhupada says, you can read in a Nectar Instruction, one of the first few verses, I forgot in the purport. Prabhupada explains this, or maybe that shloka which explains that how pure devotee is like Ganges water. Even if you see
Yeah.
some deficiencies in him, it should be neglected. Somewhere there, Prabhupada discusses this.
Yeah, I have still question. Still one more question.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Is if one the guru in ISKCON, they did something a sinful act, such as the black magic or evil magic, and is this the guru consider qualify, or how to deal with this kind of guru? You, I say this is based on my realization.
Experience.
Last month I went to Malaysia,
Hmm?
and Malaysia,
Yeah.
and then I found some guru and practice this black magic on our devotees. When he gave lectures to all of us for the Srimad Bhagavatam class, or also when we go outside and then we listen to his lecture, he also do this black magic all the time, and to drain everybody's energy, and then he collect this energy for himself. So that is my question: is this kind of devotee considered pure devotee, maybe not pure, I don't know how, he is a qualified guru, and what is his life, next life? Can he still go back to Godhead?
Well, first thing, devotee, pure devotee doesn't practice black magic. What to speak
Yes.
about somebody serving as a guru? Then you can say he's just guru in name only, because
Oh,
the,
yeah,
the,
yeah.
the, so if somehow he was appointed as guru and he's doing things that are not supposed to be done, you should not really accept him as a guru. I mean, there were gurus in ISKCON in past. One of them, particularly, for example, he was taking LSD drugs and doing so many things, and disciples they were accepting it as symptoms of bhava when he was he was high on drugs.
Oh,
So we should also not be stupid and foolish. If we see something that is really uh, out of question for devotee, what to speak of a guru, then we should distance ourselves from such a person. And then ideally institution should also do something to, not spoil the institution's name by acting in the wrong ways. But if institution is not doing anything, anyway, at least you distance yourself. It's not that you blindly accept anybody who has some followers and who poses as a big person as a guru. No, he really has to be a representative of Krishna, at least externally behave in such a way. What to speak of having a realization and be, transparent via medium. The guru is supposed to be transparent via medium, basically like
yeah,
external manifestation of Paramatma. So
yes.
ideally he should be fully connected, to the super soul within. So when you ask him something, and like Prabhupada, so many devotees, when they had the impression that Prabhupada was, knew exactly their heart, knew exactly their mind, and he would say, even without them asking, he would answer their questions. So this is the guru we want, somebody who is connected with the Lord and who can be his transparent representative, not to put himself in front to be worshipped. And because by Kali Yoga, and there are always, so many more cheating gurus who present themselves as a guru. Somebody
Yeah,
was
yeah,
showing
yeah.
me, somebody was showing me one particular big guru outside of ISKCON, of course, in some devotional sort of bhakti yoga organization. And disciples, they were putting tulsi manjaris on his feet, and he was not objecting it. But he was speaking about bhakti. But he basically became like a Mayavadi, accepting tulsis on his feet. And still thousands of people, they follow him, they worship him, they follow in Dandavat. People, they're gullible, and they cannot really themselves understand who guru is not. So we should, be a little intelligent and use discrimination, and not accept anybody doing everything and anything, and still, pose as a guru. And even after these gurus in ISKCON that fell, some people, they were just in complete denial because they sold their hearts, they gave their hearts to that person. And even if when he fell, they still couldn't stop worshiping him, following him. I know a few such devotees who, although their guru fell, 20 or 30 years ago, they still think, oh, he's a pure devotee, and this is just his, pastime. He's just acting some pastime. But we should not be foolish like this. Yeah, just
Yeah,
use your intelligence, please, and discrimination.
yeah,
Stop.
very good. Yeah, what about his destination? His
His destination His destination will be decided not by his institutional position or by any position uh, that he himself takes. His destination will be decided by the agents of the Lord whether it's Yamaraj, Vishnu Dutas, Yamadutas. If he was sinful, he was doing sinful activities, he will be punished. If he was a sincere sadhaka but still didn't achieve bhava and prema, he'll be given opportunity in next birth to continue. Just by being guru doesn't guarantee anything. If one has a position of serving as a guru in institution today, doesn't guarantee that he's going back to Godhead, or to speak of taking his followers back to Godhead. First, he has to achieve something. He has to have bhava and prema, and then he goes back to Godhead. If he doesn't have it, he doesn't go. But if he's a sincere devotee, he's given chance to continue to progress in the next life, whether he's guru or not. So that's why don't be so much bewildered by external titles and positions in institution or outside of institution. One has to see what the person really is and where he is.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, very, very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Lucas.
Yeah,
Did
can I still ask one more question?
Okay, please.
Yes, you see, we don't have so many suitable guru, and so some devotee told me that we shall consider Srila Prabhupada as our Diksha Guru.
And this is Ritvik philosophy, which is shastrically wrong. You cannot have Diksha Guru as somebody who has departed from this world, although he's a pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada. He cannot give you initiation. It's against the Shastra. So this is the Ritviks that are proposing this, and they have their own philosophy, but it's wrong. It's not according to the Shastra. Diksha Guru has to be present in order to give you Diksha. Prabhupada is not here now to give you Diksha. So that's why again it's some sort of deviation called Ritvik Vada. And there are many, Shastric references that can refute this Ritvik Vada. They quote some letter of Srila Prabhupada, how he appointed first Ritvik gurus to initiate on behalf of him, and now it applies. But if you use this logic, then you can take initiation Diksha from Rupa Goswami, from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, from anybody in the past. Why only from Srila Prabhupada? Why not from Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur? He has also departed. So why I don't take Diksha from him now? So why only Srila Prabhupada? This doesn't make sense. The Ritvik philosophy doesn't make sense. You can take shiksha from this person in the past because they wrote books. Rupa Goswami left a lot of books, so we can read his books, study his books, and take his shiksha, his instructions. But we cannot take diksha from him because he is just not here to give us diksha, unless we are so advanced that he appears in his, spiritual form in front of us and give us diksha. But I don't think many will qualify for this. So that's why we should not also. Yeah.
Yeah. So, which book tells that one should initiate by a living guru?
I can find some reference and I can post later in a group book or some articles about refutation of this Ritvik Vada. I can post in this Bhagavad Dharma group, and then you can read it. I'll find it for you. Just give me a couple of days.
What about how to understand this Ritvik? How to understand this?
Ritvik.
Yeah, Ritvik. Because the devotee tell me that we don't have qualified guru in this age of Kali, and then Srila Prabhupada appointed 11 members, GBC members, to initiate the devotees as his disciple. And so this guru is not, though this devotee who initiate the devotees on behalf of Srila Prabhupada, they are just how to say the word affiliating priest. So they are not a Diksha guru. And then I don't know how to
But-
understand this.
But de facto, they're acting as a guru because they're initiating on behalf of Srila Prabhupada, and they just say, "Oh, I'm initiating on behalf of Prabhupada. Prabhupada is Diksha Guru," but that person. He's acting as a guru. He's choosing the name. He's giving Diksha mantras. He's giving, beads. Basically, it's a play of the of the words. He's acting as Diksha Guru, and he's saying,
Yeah,
"I'm
yeah,
not a
yeah.
Diksha Guru." So it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
very, very, very slight difference, and playing with the words and terminology. Don't worry, I'll post some refutation of this Ritvik Vada that you can read. And
Okay, okay.
even the Ritviks, even they have many Ritvik groups in Malaysia, especially. Yeah, in Malaysia and Singapore, I know there are 2 or 3 Ritvik groups, and in India, of course, you have Ritvik groups. They are also not united together because they separated from ISKCON, and now they split amongst themselves into many groups. So it's not a one Ritvik group anymore. So because it's Kali
No.
Yoga, everybody wants to be separate, independent.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'll post something about this once I find it. Just give me a couple of days. So let us
Yeah,
continue reading,
yeah,
please.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, and you can also ask questions there in the group. Bhagavad Dharma group is meant for that. You can just type or send a voice
Okay.
message if
Okay.
you have something. No problem.
Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
very good. Yeah.
Okay, let us
Thank you
go.
very much.
Thank you. Let us go back to the Bhagavatam. So let's go back to, was it Subhadra Mataji was the first one to read? Can you
Yes,
again,
yes,
please?
Prabhu. Guru Shushrusaya Bhaktya Sarvalabdharpanena Cha Sangena Sadhu Bhaktanam Ishwaradhana Nena Cha Shraddhaya Tat Kathayam Cha Kirtaner Guna Karmanam Tat Padamburuha Yanat Talinge Ksharhana Dibhi. Translation. One must accept the bona fide spiritual master and render service unto him with great devotion and faith. Whatever one has in one's possession should be offered to the spiritual master. And in the association of saintly persons and devotees, one should worship the Lord, hear the glories of the Lord with faith, glorify the transcendental qualities and activities of the Lord, always meditate on the Lord's lotus feet, and worship the deity of the Lord strictly according to the injunctions of the Shastra and Guru. Purport. In the previous verse, it has been said that the process which immediately increases one's love and affection for the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the best of the many thousands of ways to become free from the entanglement of material existence. It is also said, Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam. Actually, the truth of religious principles is extremely confidential. Nonetheless, it can be understood very easily if one actually adopts the principles of religion. As it is said, Dharmam tu shakshat Bhagavat Parinitam, Srimad Bhagavatam 6.3.19. The process of religion is initiated by the Supreme Lord because he is the supreme authority. This is also indicated in the previous verse by the word Bhagavato Ditaha. The injunctions or directions of the Lord are infallible, and their benefits are fully assured. According to his directions, which are explained in the verse, the perfect form of religion is Bhakti Yoga. To practice Bhakti Yoga, one must first accept the bona fide spiritual master. Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasa Amrit Sindhu advises, Guru Padash Rayas Tasmat Krishna Dikshadi Sikshanam Vishrambhena Guru Seva Sadhu Vartmanuvartanam Sadharma Pricha Bogadi Tyaga Krishnasya Hetave. One's first duty is to accept a bona fide spiritual master. The student or disciple should be very inquisitive. He should be eager to know the complete truth about eternal religion, Sanatana Dharma. The words Guru Shushrusaya mean that one should personally serve the spiritual master by giving him bodily comforts, helping him in bathing, dressing, sleeping, eating, and so on. This is called Guru Shushrushanam. A disciple should serve the spiritual master as a menial servant, and whatever he has in his possession should be dedicated to the spiritual master. Pranayar Arthar Diya Vacha. Everyone has his life, his wealth, his intelligence, and his works. And all of them should be offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the via medium of the spiritual master. Everything should be offered to the spiritual master as a matter of duty, but the offering should be made to the spiritual master with heart and soul, not artificially to gain material prestige. This offering is called arpan. Moreover, one should live among devotees, saintly persons, to learn the etiquette and proper behavior of devotional service. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks in this connection that whatever is offered to the spiritual master should be offered with love and affection, not for material adoration. Similarly, it is recommended that one associate with devotees, but there must be some discrimination. Actually, a sadhu, a saintly person, must be saintly in his behavior. Sadhavaha sat acharaha. Unless one adheres to the standard behavior, one's position as a sadhu, a saintly person, is not complete. Therefore, a Vaishnava, a sadhu, must completely adhere to the standard of behavior. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that a Vaishnava, a person initiated into Vaishnava cult, should be offered the respect befitting a Vaishnava, which means that he should be offered service and prayers. However, one should not associate with him if he is not a fit person with whom to associate. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Of the two topics to be taught, Bhakti and Gyan, related to Bhakti, Gyan has been explained. Bhakti Yoga has been indicated in the previous verse. Now the Angas of Bhakti are described in 3 verses. Rati arises by services to Guru, such as bathing him and massaging him, by offering him all articles obtained with devotion and not for gaining recognition, by association with devotees who have proper conduct, sadhu bhaktana. It is not recommended to associate closely with devotees of bad conduct, though they may be served, respected, and seen.
Okay, so here is the Guru Bhakti described, how one accepts Guru and renders service to him with a great devotion and faith. So you can only really surrender to a Guru if you have complete faith in him. Otherwise, if you have some doubts and think, oh, maybe he's not really qualified, how are you going to surrender? How will you give him your heart and faith? It will be very difficult. So that's why one is advised not to rush in choosing a guru, especially Diksha Guru, but to, analyze very well and take time. And then once you accept him, then you are obliged by etiquette, to serve him without reservation, because the Lord will accept through him your service. So Guru Bhakti, that's why is considered even higher than Krishna Bhakti. But of course, Guru has to be up to the standard of real Guru, of transparent via media, that whatever is offered to him, he's offering to his Guru and back to Krishna. Then that's accepted by the Lord. And yeah, there are different sort of service to the guru. One is Vapu Seva, you serve the physical body of the guru, which is not always available to everybody, especially if the guru has many disciples or he lives very far away. Somehow in ISKCON we have a system that not many persons, although we have more than 100 initiating Diksha gurus, it's very less comparing to the number of devotees in ISKCON. And now they are discussing in GBC changing this because they know that many of the present gurus they'll be leaving the planet soon, and that we need to start appointing new gurus. So the better situation would be that one guru has a lesser number of disciples, not to have big mega gurus with thousands and thousands of disciples, but many small gurus who can take actually care of their disciples properly, not just fly uh, once a year and give few classes and go away, and then disciples again left on their own, or they're left to the local leaders, and then these local leaders they act as actually, if they guide spiritually these devotees under their care, they act actually as a gurus, and then they should be actually gurus. Why should somebody who is really not taking care of these people uh, be officially made a guru if somebody else is taking care of them? Of course, these persons also have to be qualified, but if somebody is a mentor and spiritual guide, and he's really helping person to make a progress, then he should actually be one who is giving diksha, not somebody from very far away who is never present here. But this is change of system conception that will take some time, but I think it's coming. There are already some proposals for this, but it may take 10 years or whatever is necessary. But I believe that in the future there will be many more gurus than at the present moment. Those who are acting as Diksha gurus. And again, that doesn't guarantee that they'll be all pure devotees coming from the spiritual world. No, there'll be sadhakas, those who are also making progress. They're on the path, but they're a little more advanced than the disciples, and they can help them. This is the reality of the situation we have. Otherwise, we just want one big acharya like Prabhupada. We'll need to wait many years for him to appear.
Prabhu,
Yeah.
yeah, I have one question. How to understand that the last purport, the last sentence, offer respect befitting a Vaishnava, which means that he should be offered service and prayers. And however, one should not associate with him if he is not a fit person with whom to associate.
So that means if somebody is properly initiated, again, this is from Nectar and Instruction. If he is not only properly initiated, but he's actually advanced. You can see that he's a senior Vaishnava by his behavior and conduct. Then he deserves to be served because he's behaving like a Vaishnava, and he can. But if somebody is, whether he's initiated or not, but he's acting against the Vaishnava principles, you see that he is doing something wrong. Obviously, such a person, although he's might be Kanishta Adhikari, but he's not fit to associate with, because you will get these bad habits from him. He's doing black magic, or he's smoking, or he's doing this or that. You offer him respect from afar, but you don't go much close to him. You don't associate with him. Otherwise, he might drag you down.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
we are like a hospital. There's so many persons who are coming to be cured from disease or material condition. Some are more sick, some are less sick. The doctors are very rare. So sometimes, persons who are uh, cured more, you can say senior patients, they help the junior patients in the hospital. And of course, the doctors are the best, but if they're not available, we want to take help from those who can help us. But
Yeah,
definitely we should not associate with those who do not follow the proper Vaishnava sadachar, who are committing sinful activities, breaking the regulative principles, or if you are that advanced and capable and you want to help that person and you can actually help, maybe you can help him, but just don't be pulled down by him. This is the main. Yeah, if you start revealing him your mind, he start revealing his mind, and he's I'm smoking some ganja, doing this, that, and then you think, oh, it's okay, let me try also, and in this way, both of you go down. So this is the purpose
okay.
of not
Yeah,
associating with such a person.
yeah. Thank
All
you
right,
very much.
okay. Thank you. Let's we have a little more time. Gunnar Prabhu would like to read.
Yes, bro. हरि सर्वेषु भूतेषु भगवान् आस्त ईश्वरः इति भूतानि मनसा कामैस्तै साधु मानयेत्. Translation. One should always remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his localized representation as the Paramatma, who is situated in the core of every living entity's heart. Thus, one should offer respect to every living entity according to that living entity's position or manifestation. Purport. Hari Sarveshu Bhuteshu. This statement is sometimes misunderstood by unscrupulous persons who wrongly conclude that because Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is situated in every living entity is therefore Hari. Such foolish persons do not distinguish between the Atma and the Paramatma, who are situated in every body. The Atma is the living entity and the Paramatma is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The individual living entity, however, is different from the Paramatma, the Supreme Lord. Therefore, Hari Sarveshu Bhuteshu means that Hari is situated as Paramatma, not as Atma, although Atma is a part of Paramatma. Offering respect to every living entity means offering respect to the Paramatma situated in every living entity. One should not misunderstand every living entity to be the Paramatma. Sometimes unscrupulous persons designate a living entity as Daridra Narayana, Swami Narayana, this Narayana or that Narayana. One should clearly understand that although Narayana is situated in the core of the heart of every living entity, the living entity never becomes Narayana.
Prabhupada clears some misconceptions here that people worship Swami Narayana or Daridra Narayana. Yeah, the Lord is present in everyone's heart, but doesn't mean that that the Lord becomes that person just by being situated in everybody's heart. And He's situated not only in the heart of human beings, but also in the heart of animals, and He's also in the plants and all atoms. So in that sense, you can say, oh, I can then worship anything and everything as the Lord because He's present everywhere. But this is the wrong philosophy. We want to worship the Lord in His form of a deity, and also he wants to worship the Lord in a form of Guru as his representative. And we want also to worship devotees of the Lord specifically because they are connected towards the Lord. It's not that we worship everybody and anybody, but we respect other living entities, knowing that the Lord is in their hearts, and we don't want to hurt these entities. So that's why animal slaughter is horrible thing because the Lord is situated in their hearts, and you're killing the body of that living entity. And and that is certainly causing, the pain to the living entity, and the Lord who is in their hearts is also very much dissatisfied by such action. Yeah, that's why also criticism of slander. When we start criticizing, slandering somebody, you should also remember that the Lord is in the heart of that person, and we should be careful. All right. Shailesh Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Can I ask a question quickly, Prabhu?
Please, please,
I heard
please.
a lecture recently that Bhakti Rasamitra Swami was giving, and I was a little confused. I couldn't ask him because it was an online class I heard recorded. He mentioned that not all forms of life have Atma inside. Like, for instance, most plants don't have an Atma. So how are they considered a living entity if there's no Atma?
I'm not sure what he meant, that not all forms of life have Atma. Sometimes we hear even that, the mountains have Atma inside.
Yeah. Then he went on saying actually some forms of stone also have Atma, and those forms of stones are the ones that traditionally deities are made out of. They have to actually find the particular stone that has, it's covered by a lot of ignorance, etc. But there is a soul within some types of stone, and those are the types of stones that are used for carving deities. Like, for instance, Nrsimhadev deity in Mayapur was one such stone that they found to actually make the deity from. So I was a little confused by that.
Yeah, I don't know where he read it. Maybe he referenced somewhere something in some Purana, and how is it explained there? I cannot really comment, but to me it doesn't make sense to say that plants do not have Atma inside, because if they're growing and they're going these transformations from seed to, there must be a soul inside. I mean, otherwise how it can be living? At least,
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a corollary to that in saying that's why we're permitted to effectively take plant life and eat, because it's not considered slaughter.
actually, Prabhupada in Bhagavad Gita says that even vegetarianism is he actually says, I remember in one purport, that even just being vegetarian is partly or slightly sinful, because we are killing the plants, but because we are offering them to the Lord, then we are taking prasad. That's why we taking prasad is above any sin. But even killing plants, Prabhupada says
Yeah, I
it's
remember reading that as well. So maybe I'll write to.
so
I'm
yeah,
sure
maybe.
there's a clarification in there, but I couldn't interact with him.
Yeah,
'Cause it was
maybe
a quick class.
he found some reference from some shastra something, but generally, what I understand, the trees, you just remember Arjuna trees that Krishna pulled in in his Damodar pastime. There were Nalkuvar and Manigriva. So not only these two trees have Atma, the living entities, they're very much covered by lust. They're put in the form of trees, and they stand there for many thousands or hundreds of years.
Presumably, because they're living entities, if the Atma is there, the Paramatma will also be present even in plant life. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think so. If the living entity is there, the Paramatma will be also there. Then insects and all these small insignificant forms of life, like mosquitoes, it must be there. I mean, Paramatma is present in each atom. One
Yeah.
who has spiritual vision, he can see it. So why not in plants? Why not in stones?
Yeah, there
Anyway,
was
this is
something specific. I think it was talking about rooted forms of life. With, I think I said it was some time ago. I listened to the lecture, but it was specifically related to rooted forms of life.
Yeah, maybe he has some specific reference from Shastra. Yes,
Yeah.
if you find out, please also let us know. It would be interesting to know also.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, text 33. Ivam nirjita sada sad sadvari vargaye kariyate bhaktir ishvare vasudeve bhagavate yaya samlabhayate rati. Translation. By these activities, as mentioned above, one is able to cut down the influence of the enemies, namely lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and jealousy. And when thus situated, one can render service to the Lord. In this way, one surely attains the platform of loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. As mentioned in verses 30 and 31, one's first duty is to approach the spiritual master, the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to begin rendering service to him. Prahlad Maharaj proposed that from the very beginning of life, Komarya Achrate Prajana, a small child, should be trained to serve the spiritual master while living at the Gurukul. Brahmachari Gurukule Vasan Dhanto Gurur Hitam. Bhagavatam 7:12:1. This is the beginning of spiritual life. Guru Prasadasraya, Guru Padasraya, Sadhu Vartman Utvartananam, Sadharma Prache. By following the instructions of the Guru and the Shastra, the disciple attains the stage of devotional service and becomes unattached to possessions. Whatever he possesses, he offers to the spiritual master, the Guru, who engages him in Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. The disciple follows strictly and in this way learns how to control his senses. Then, by using the pure intelligence, he gradually becomes a lover of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed by Srila Rupa Goswami. Ado Shraddha Tatha Sadhu Sangha. In this way, one's life becomes perfect, and his attachment for Krishna becomes positively manifested. In that stage, he is situated in ecstasy, experiencing bhava and anubhava, as explained in the following verse. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Having conquered the 6 vargas, starting with lust, or the 6 senses, including the mind, by these methods of bhakti, by these angas, bhakti arises. The accompanying result is cessation of the state of intelligence. That was stated in verse 28. The main result of bhakti is explained here. Rati, or prema, or Vasudeva, is obtained.
So serving the Guru in the Gurukulas. So that's why the Gurukulas or traditional schools in India, they're called Gurukulas because the Guru was there and then the children would be sent at early age and they would learn and serve the Guru and basically engage as manual servants of the Guru. And then when the Guru would be pleased with them, he would bless them with the knowledge. Like Krishna and Balaram went to Gurukul of Sandipani Muni and stayed there for some months and served him very humbly. If you remember that episode of Krishna and Sudama going to the forest collecting wood for Guru, and there was a storm and they suffered during the night, they got lost, and then in the morning the Guru sent some other disciples to search for them and they found them, and Guru was Sandipani Muni was so pleased with Krishna that he blessed him that whatever he says be always eternally fresh. Of course, it's a pastime, not really bless Krishna, but it's a pastime in which Krishna shows how one should actually treat one's guru. Yes, so from the very early childhood, children were trained like this to surrender and serve and learn from guru. Nowadays, of course, it's a different situation. We, as adults, we find a guru, and we cannot really go and live with the guru and spend time with him and serve him manually. Most of us, though I remember when I went to serve my guru. Actually, I spent 1 year with him and served him by cooking for him manually. That was my training practice. But generally, not many devotees get this opportunity to live with Guru and serve him personally. And again, whatever possessions one has and offers the spiritual master, again, nowadays I don't think many practice this. There was one disciple of Bhakti Saraswati Thakur who, I think his name was Bhakti Sudhakar Prabhu, and then he worked hard as a teacher, and then whatever salary he would get, at the end of the month, he would go and give everything to Srila Bhakti Saraswati Thakur, who would, take it, but then he would give most of it back to his wife, that he can be able to take care of his family. Otherwise, if he took everything, what would be how disciple would live? So he had the consideration of that. And I know some devotees who was so eager to surrender everything to their guru. So one Mataji, she gave all her life saving to her guru. But then later she found herself, alone, without money, without anything. And then guru had somehow to jump and help. Otherwise, if he didn't do that, she would be in trouble. So one has to see what actually he can give without, risking that he'll have nothing to eat or nowhere to sleep. So these are, some ideal examples of traditional guru and disciple relationship. But we have to consider the modern day and age and how dynamics of this relationship actually changes, especially in organizations and institutions like ISKCON. And especially, if you don't have really much personal connection with the guru, Diksha Guru. But then you can have Shiksha Gurus and have more personal relationship with some of the Shiksha Guru. Okay, so maybe one more with Chatura Mataji.
Yeah. Nismaya kamani guna atuyan varyani lila tanupi kirtani yadati haso pulashkashu gadam Prakata Udgayati Roti Rityati. Translation: one who is situated in devotional service is certainly the controller of his senses, and thus he is a liberated person. When such a liberated person, the pure devotee, hears of the transcendental qualities and activities of the lost incarnation for the performance of various pastimes, his hair stood on end on his body. Tears fall from his eyes. And in his spiritual realization, his voice falters. Sometimes he very openly dances, sometimes he sings loudly, and sometimes he cries. Thus, he expresses his transcendental jubilation purport. The Lord's activities are uncommon. For example, when he appeared as Lord Ramachandra, he performed uncommon activities like bridging the ocean. Similarly, when Lord Krishna appeared, he raised the Golden Hill when he was only 7 years old of age. These are uncommon activities. Fools and rascals who are not in the transcendental position consider these uncommon activities of the Lord to be mythological. But when the pure devotee, the liberated person, hears about these uncommon activities of the Lord, he immediately becomes ecstatic and exhibit the symptoms of chanting, dancing, and crying very loudly and jubilantly. This is the difference between a devotee and non-devotee. Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur. The symptoms of a rati are described. Actions are stealing milk and yogurt. Qualities are things like affection for the devotee. Hero acts are actions such as lifting Govardhan and killing Kamsa.
Surati is another word for bhava, and in this verse we have symptoms of bhava expressed externally on the body, and they're called ashtasattvika bhavas, like hair standing on end and tears flowing from the eyes, voice choking, and other bodily symptoms, and they are just external manifestation of these ecstatic symptoms of bhava that arise in the heart. Sometimes unscrupulous persons like sahajis, they externally imitate these symptoms in order to attract worship of gullible, innocent persons. And I think in ISKCON we also had some early gurus who were kind of actors or performers who wanted to impress their disciples with their advanced status, and they also acted as pure devotees. They were practicing looking themselves in a mirror and things like this. But one should not be foolish and fall for external display of these Ashtasattvika bhavas. Actually, the one who is a real devotee, he will try to subdue these symptoms in front of others. Of course, it might not be always possible, but Prabhupada rarely exhibit these symptoms, if you see, rarely. Only sometimes he could not hide, but he would never, advertise himself. Oh, see, I'm on the Baba platform, I exhibit these symptoms. No, that should not be the intention. Yes, and how are these symptoms invoked, initiated in the heart? By listening about the Lord's wonderful, wonderful qualities, pastimes, names, and any small thing about the Lord could be a trigger for such a pure devotee to fall into this ecstatic condition. In Chaitanya Charitamrita we have was it example of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, as soon as Gadadhar came sent by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, go and listen from Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he's a great devotee. But when he came there, he saw Pundarik Vidyanidhi dressed very lavishly, combing his hair, looking in the mirror, behaving and chewing pan, behaving basically like a materialist. and Gadadhar Pandit had some doubts. Is this a real devotee or is he a materialist dressed as a devotee? Why he's looking in the mirror and taking care of his body in such a lavish way? But Mukunda, who was with Gadadhar, he sensed what he was thinking, so he wanted to show him the greatness of Pundarik. So he starts singing one verse from Bhagavata Mahabhaki, that verse glorifying Krishna, who accepted Putana as his mother, although he wanted to kill him. And as soon as Pundarik Vidyanidhi heard this verse, his heart completely melted and transformed. And then he ripped all of his expensive clothes and he fell on the floor and started rolling in which was exhibition of the Baba rose in his heart. So in this way, Mukunda showed to Gadadhar that actually this was a real devotee, that you cannot just judge by external appearance. Yes, sometimes the symptoms appear, sometimes they do not appear, so one has to be careful how to judge them or not misjudge them. Is anything there on this? Otherwise, we can stop here. I think it's just 10 minutes left. Can conclude and finish and continue reading next class. All right, thank you all very much for being here today, and I will continue next Wednesday. Panchakalpatarusya kripa sindhu eva cha patapaham
Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namo.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very
Hare
much.
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.